Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. To provide some background, I, 24 male, didn't meet my father until I was around 5 or 6 years old because he abandoned us. When he started paying child support around that same time, it was around $900 a month. When I turned 15, my father and his wife proposed the following arrangement. They would stop paying my mother monthly and instead save the money for my university education in a separate account, which I would have control of in 3 years. My mother, wanting me to get a good education, agreed. I was a minor at the time and understood no better than my mom, who is someone who can easily be manipulated due to her poor educational background. When I graduated from high school, I decided to attend a university in another state for various reasons, including the said university offered a better program. However, when I contacted my dad and his wife, they said they didn't approve of my choice in college and declined to release the money in my college savings account. I argued that they never once mentioned the money came with conditions like that, but they said it was to be expected. I felt screwed over and I lashed out at my dad, but there was nothing neither me or my mom could do. I would have chosen the university they insisted I went to, but then I would lose my scholarship. So in the end, I just went with my choice and forgot about them. Now I'm in my final year of university and I want to pursue a postgraduate program, as without one, there's almost no hope of finding a job in my line of education. I work 2 jobs, but I still don't have enough money since I help my mother financially. My father and his wife, on the other hand, are very wealthy and take several vacations every year. They have never given me a penny more than I should have gotten as child support, and our relationship is not good. Recently, I called my dad up and requested a little financial help so I could pay some of my loans off. He straight up refused, calling me embarrassing for expecting daddy to pay for things. His wife also texted me and said similar things. So I called him again and reminded him of the 2 years of unpaid support. He asked if I had any proof he didn't pay it, and called me petty for bringing it up. I could really use the money, both for school and to pay off my debts. It's frustrating to see them spend so much money on themselves while neglecting what I should have been paid as my child support. Now I feel really conflicted about what I should do. I really feel resentful of him. Update. Before I proceed, I need to clarify that I'm not from the US. So I inquired with my mom about the documentation of child support, and it turns out, yes, there is. All the child support payments were recorded at the child support office. My mother had routinely submitted all the paperwork to the workers there for years. After clarifying this fact, I met with my older cousin, who is an attorney, and has agreed to take the case on for no charge. We will be getting the necessary documentation, and my cousin has informed me that my dad should be held accountable for the first 6 years of my life, that he didn't pay any support also. So we are looking at well over $100,000 in back child support plus penalty fees. My dad would not be happy. I cannot wait to break the news to him. Edit. So I called him and told him to expect to get sued soon. He absolutely lost it. I think there's a chance this can be settled out of court after all. That will be so much better because even traveling costs are too much for me to handle now. I'm glad you're able to sue your dad, OP. He's a jerk. He took advantage of your mom and I bet he thought he had gotten away with it. Thank goodness your mom kept all the documentations. If not, you wouldn't have gotten a penny from him. The fact that he and his wife would rather go on vacations than pay for your college says a lot about how wicked they both are. He's probably very mad at you for suing him, but that's none of your concern. Get the money and finish your education. I hope you get a great job so you would be able to take care of yourself and your mom. Good luck, OP. Story 2. Some backstory. I have 2 children, my stepson Jack, 15, and my daughter from my first marriage, Jill, 9. Jack is autistic, and although he's not cognitively challenged, he has some childlike interests and behaviors. When I married his father, I was worried the kids wouldn't get along. But because Jack has a lot of the same interests as Jill, they're now best friends and spend a lot of time together. To Jill, Jack is just another kid her age who happens to be 6 feet tall and shaving. This past August, I was injured in an accident, and as a result, I've been mostly immobilized and homebound. My husband works 2 jobs and is only home for a few hours in the morning, when he gets the kids up and drives them to school. I have a stay-at-home mom neighbor, Nancy, who I'm friendly with because her daughter is friends with mine. Since my accident, she has gone out of her way to be helpful, picking up the kids from school, bringing over meals, and helping to take care of the house, and I'm very grateful to her for this. The issue comes in with how she treats Jack. She's a very traditional sort of person and seems uncomfortable with how Jack behaves. If she's taking her daughter and Jill shopping or to the movies and he asks to come along, she always shoots him down. Jack has told me that she's called him immature for liking things like kids' cartoons and toys, and will ask him why he can't act like a normal teenage boy. She's volunteered to take Jill trick-or-treating with her and her daughter, but she has made it clear that Jack isn't invited because he's too old for Halloween and should be out with friends like a normal teenager. Jack is crushed. He loves Halloween and he was excited about going trick-or-treating. He doesn't really have any other friends he can go out with, and he's told me he doesn't want to stay home to pass out candy. I want him to go have fun with his sister, but I know if I insist Nancy take him, she'll most likely ignore him or make snide comments and take all the fun out of his night. My husband has told me not to confront Nancy because she's been doing so much for us, and he also thinks Jack is too old for trick-or-treating. Am I the a-hole for thinking Jack should stay home on Halloween instead of having to deal with Nancy's attitude? Edit. My husband works the night shift and is unable to take the kids. Not the a-hole OP, Nancy is. Don't let her treat your son that way. If you allow this, she's only gonna get worse and your daughter is gonna think it's okay and start treating him the way in the future. Your son has different needs. It's not like he's choosing to hang around kids on purpose. Use this as a lesson for your daughter in doing the right thing and defending people who can't defend themselves. If your son can't go, then a polite, "Oh no thanks, we have different plans," will do. Blood is thicker than water. Protect your son. Now for some comments. Everyone sucks here, but mostly Nancy. She sounds awful. Also, I for sure went trick-or-treating when I was 14. The age thing is not that big of a deal. But you're the a-hole as well for not calling out Nancy just because she did stuff for you. If she's being a jerk to your son, it's pretty shitty to not confront her just because she's helped you out. Show him you will stand up for him, or you're the a-hole. You said in another comment that you approached Nancy and she dismissed Jack's ASD as immaturity. Why the hell didn't you correct her then and there? Why are you seemingly afraid of her? She's being a jerk to your son, and you are letting her get away with it. Correct her, and if she wants to walk away from helping your family, let her. Just explain to your kids why this behavior from her isn't okay if it comes to that. This is a tough situation. Your neighbor is definitely the a-hole if she's aware of Jack's autism yet continues to act as such. She's a grown woman and autism awareness has been around for quite some time. She's both rude and ignorant for her attitude towards your boy. Jack should be able to go, but I also understand the hesitancy in sending him with a neighbor. He doesn't deserve to be belittled, humiliated just because your neighbor is a bit of a C-word. Everyone sucks here, but your neighbor is a huge a-hole. Story 3. My brother, age 45 male, has 2 sons, twins age 17. They're not allowed to get jobs or learn to drive, as he doesn't want anything to detract from their studies. I've had many conversations with him where I've said that if they don't learn to multitask or prioritize or balance responsibilities, this will screw them over in the long run. But he only sees short term. I, 29 female, am 5 months pregnant with my first child. My husband and I moved into a new home about 6 months ago, and we knew it was a fixer-upper when we moved in, but didn't anticipate me getting pregnant so soon. So while the house is perfectly safe and livable, the majority of the fixing has fallen on my husband. I've been helping out, but I've been doing 1/10 of what he has been doing. About a month ago, my nephews approached me asking for help. Their plan was to sign on with an agency and tell their father that they were at my place during their shifts, and they wanted to know if I would go along with it. I agreed. My husband then said, when the boys left, that as the nursery still needed painting and the furniture assembled, If they wanted to help him out with that, then he would welcome the extra hands, as we aren't in a huge rush and we have enough money to pay them for their time and effort. There were a few other things on the to-do list, like fix and repaint the fence and clear out and convert the attic into a guest room. The next time we saw the boys, they had signed on to an agency, but they didn't see as many shifts as they hoped. We said if they wanted to help us out, we could pay them £10 per hour. They agreed. The list was finished within a week. We gave the boys the money they had earned, plus a bit extra, and they each had exactly £350. One asked if we could do an IOU type of thing, where I kept the money safe for him and gave it to him when he needed it, and I agreed. The other took it home with him and said he was going to keep it safe. My brother found the second twin's money, demanded to know where he got it from, and grounded both boys when they wouldn't tell him. I told my brother that I had given my nephew the money and explained that he had been helping me out, and really laid it on thick with the pregnant thing. I didn't tell him that the other nephew had also helped. My brother yelled at me and said it wasn't my place to do that. They're his kids, not mine, and if he wants them to work, he'll put them to work. He said that by paying them £10 an hour, when the minimum wage for under 18 is £4.35, I had spoiled them and that they would piss the money away. I said that while I respect that he is their father, it was my money and my choice what to do with it. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, OP. Perhaps legally your brother has a right to treat his children like possessions, but they clearly aren't having all their needs met and you were just trying to help. I particularly don't like that he claimed his kids were going to piss the money away. Shows how little faith he has in them to manage themselves when they're almost adults. Plus, they should be able to do what they want with the money they earn. He's doing them no favors by keeping them full-blown children when they're about to become adults and will have to fend for themselves soon. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your brother sounds intense, like, why is he that mad? It's really strange the way he sees things. See if you can hold the money for the other twin. Also, aren't they old enough to open a bank account on their own? Their dad is setting them up for failure. I would certainly demand that money back if I were you. Say if he doesn't want them to have money, then he needs to give it back to you. Not the a-hole. You sound quite lovely actually, and a great auntie. Your brother needs to stop being so controlling and learn to let go. They want money and they're willing to work for it. Assuming that's something he instilled in them, he should be patting himself on the back. The kids are already 17. Unless they need dad to pay for university, it sounds like he's doing a great job of making sure they both want nothing to do with him once they can support themselves. I'm divided on this. On the one hand, you went behind your brother's back and betrayed his trust by doing something you knew he wouldn't approve of. You don't have the right to decide that another adult's parenting is wrong and supersede their judgment. Where this gets sticky is that the boys approached you, and the dad sounds very controlling. It's pretty ridiculous that he bars them from jobs at 17, not a younger, more reasonable age. Actively wished they were paid a terrible wage for hard labor. They can't be spoiled by a high wage if that's the wage they'll make as soon as they're allowed to get a job. And isn't giving them money to compensate for his decision to stop them from getting jobs. I'm reserving judgment, but I'm between everyone sucks and not the a-hole, but the dad being the a-hole in all cases.